The world needs smart foreign policies and measures to stop local conflicts escalating. That was the message of President Dmitry Medvedev as he addressed the UN in New York. And he also called on countries to follow US and Russian examples in nuclear weapons cuts. RT's Marina Portnaya has been following the events from New York.
Russian President Dmitry Medvedev did address the UN General Assembly for the first time. It was quite an interesting speech and he commanded the attention of the world leaders. He said from the beginning that his speech and this gathering is taking place at a very crucial and uneasy time for the world, particularly pointing to the economic crisis and what kind of impact it has had around the globe. The Russian president also spoke about topics such as terrorism and conflicts throughout the world, food shortages and climate change. He said that the collective leadership role of global organizations such as the G8 and G20 should be increased. And one other thing that he did talk about in the beginning of his speech was the anti-missile defense system that the United States recently shelved and canceled. It planned to deploy that missile defense system in Eastern Europe, and that was something Russia was very much against for a few years during the Bush administration. But now the Obama administration has taken a different route, and the Russian President Dmitry Medvedev said that President Obama made a very sensible decision. Now, the issue of nuclear disarmament is an issue that's of high importance for Russia, and it's an issue that the Russian president did speak about. He believes that it would behoove and benefit the entire world community if nuclear weapons were eradicated. And he said that, as he mentioned, he and President Obama met just a few hours back in a one-on-one meeting, and the U.S. and Russia has agreed to sign a new treaty before the old START treaty expires, where both countries agreed to reduce their stockpile of nuclear weapons. And he says that the U.S. and Russia can't go at this alone, but they are willing, both countries, to lead by example.
We believe that the disarmament efforts of the United States and Russia should be backed by other countries. There is no need to wait for further progress in the Russian-American disarmament process. In order to reach a common understanding on such important issues, we must engage all nations and influential international organizations in the aforementioned negotiations processes.
The Russian president also spoke about local and regional conflicts and how little conflicts can escalate and grab the attention of the world if they are not addressed. He specifically pointed to the conflict of August 2008 that occurred in South Ossetia, and he said irresponsible regimes should not be allowed and should not be given the opportunity to cause rifts between the world community, and that the UN needs to do a better job in enforcing international law and impacting those irresponsible regimes that are trying to use local conflicts to create problems for the world at large.
In August 2008, we were very close to a situation when a local armed conflict could potentially grow into a full-scale war. Irresponsible regimes should not have the possibility to cause disputes amongst other countries. The role and place of the modern nation in ensuring global security is one of the most relevant topics today.
We are hearing positive news and positive signs. We are hearing that the Russian president said that Russia and U.S. are committed to signing a new START treaty before the old one expires this December. That START treaty is committed to an arms reduction.
Our teams have been working on together over the last several months. In particular, we discussed the progress that's being made on the START treaty, and both of us are confident that we can meet our self-imposed deadline to get an agreement that substantially reduces our nuclear missiles and launchers by the end of the year.
on the sidelines of all the talking that's been taking place here, the Russian president did meet with the newly elected Japanese prime minister. Both parties did express their willingness to work bilaterally on problems that have existed between the countries for decades, particularly when it has to do with the Kuril Island and the territorial dispute that has lasted there. And we do have a little bit of what the Japanese prime minister had to say, and we will play it for you now.
There's a territorial issue between our countries, and we'd like to resolve this question once and for all. We'd like also to sign a peace treaty, and we must accomplish it in this generation.